This is the Jasion Roamer ST, the city electric bike that let me cut my commute time, climb my steepest neighborhood hill, and still feel like I was riding a regular bike instead of sitting on a little scooter. What surprised me most is how it adds help without taking away the simple, familiar rhythm of pedaling. I see this as a classic step through city bike with an extra push. It fits people like me who ride on weekdays for work or errands and want to arrive less sweaty. And it also suits anyone who is curious about electric bikes but does not want a bulky moped style. If I were new to electric bikes, I would want something that looks and rides like a bicycle first. That is exactly how this feels. The design matters here. The frame has a low step-through that makes it easy to hop on and off at stoplights and to load groceries. The white and green finish reads clean and a bit retro, and it blends in on a bike rack. The battery locks into the down tube, so the whole bike looks tidy. I care about that since I park in tight spaces. The handlebar height and the seat are easy to adjust, and the saddle has enough cushion that I did not rush to replace it. The front fork has suspension with an adjustable lockout. On cracked pavement and curb cuts it takes the edge off, and then I can flip the lockout when I want a firmer ride on smooth paths. The wheels are 26 inches, which give a stable, predictable feel when I am threading through traffic. With a rated load of up to 300 pounds, it does not complain when I pack a backpack and strap a couple of grocery bags to a rear rack. I mounted a simple rack using the frame mounts, and it has been solid. Getting it set up was straightforward. It arrived mostly assembled. I installed the front wheel, handlebars, and pedals, and then dialed in the seat height. I took my time and did it solo in about an hour with the included tools. The bike is heavier than a regular city bicycle. My scale shows a bit over 50 pounds. I can carry it up a short flight of stairs, but I would not want to haul it up multiple floors every day. Rolling it into an elevator is no problem. Once it was together, turning it on and figuring out the controls took minutes. The buttons for power and assist levels are on the left. The throttle sits on the right. The handlebar-mounted liquid crystal display screen shows speed, battery, mileage, and the pedal assist level. At first it felt like a lot of information, but after a couple of rides I knew exactly where to glance for the details I use. On the road, the motor's help feels natural. The rear hub has a peak of around 1,200 watts, and the assist ramps in smoothly as I pedal. I like to ride in a lower assist level on flat streets to keep my heart rate up, then bump it up a notch or two when a headwind hits or when I see a hill coming. The throttle is handy in stop and go traffic, or if I want to coast up a short rise without shifting. There is a gentle delay when I twist the throttle from a full stop, which I actually prefer because it keeps the bike from lunging forward. The claimed top speed is around 28 miles per hour with assist. On a long, open stretch I have hit the high 20s, but most of my city riding sits between 15 and 20 miles per hour where it feels controlled and safe. Battery performance has been consistent for me, with expected trade-offs. The removable battery is a 48-volt pack rated at 11 amp-hours and 528 watt-hours from Samsung cells. I charge it inside my apartment sometimes, and other times I charge it right on the bike. Both are easy. From empty, it takes around 5 to 6 hours to charge. The company quotes up to 62 miles on one charge in pedal assist. My numbers depend on how I ride. On a week of short, flat commutes with pedal assist set to 2 or 3, I have seen 40 to 50 miles before I plug in. On a weekend of throttle-heavy riding and a few long climbs with a loaded rack, I have seen the range drop into the mid-20s. That is normal for an electric bike in real use, and I plan rides around it just like I would plan a phone charge before a long day. Braking and control have been reassuring. The mechanical disc brakes have good bite without feeling grabby. I did a few hard stops on damp pavement just to see how it would react. The bike stayed straight, and the levers gave me enough modulation to scrub speed without locking. The steering is steady, not twitchy. The weight helps it track cleanly at 20 miles per hour, and the frame does not flex when I stand on the pedals. I can hear a soft motor whir at higher assist, which fades into the background quickly. Lighting and safety features matter to me because I ride at dusk. The headlight is genuinely bright. It throws a clean, usable beam down the road, not just a marker light. The tail light is visible, and the integrated turn signals are a real upgrade in city traffic. I can signal without taking a hand off the bar, which feels safer in crowded intersections. The reflective strips on the tires show up clearly in car headlights. Let me walk through a few real rides. During a midweek commute, I leave just after sunrise and take a route that is 5.5 miles each way. I tend to keep pedal assist at level 2 on the flats and bump to level 4 at the one long hill that averages about 7%. The bike crests that hill without forcing me to grind. I arrive without a sweaty back, which is the point for me. On Saturday mornings, I head to the farmer's market. I use the step-through frame to hop on and off as I stop for coffee, produce, and a loaf of bread. With about 20 pounds in the bags, the handling stays predictable. When I roll home at dusk, I flip on the lights and use the turn signals when I merge. The visibility is excellent. On a test day, I did a range check loop with mixed terrain. I got just past 40 miles before the battery indicator was down to 1 bar, riding at a moderate pace, mostly in assist level 3. I finished with the throttle on a short incline, which shaved the last bit of charge quickly. That is the kind of practical insight I want to know before I buy an electric bike. For a specific use case, think about daily errands and a mixed commute. I ride to a parking space 3 days a week. The route includes a bike lane, a rough stretch by a construction site, and a short detour through a park path. I keep the fork unlocked through the rough patch because it takes the sting out of potholes and sidewalk seams. On the smoother sections, I lock it, which makes the bike feel more direct. I park inside on a bike rack, pop the battery out with the key, and charge it under my desk with the small charger. At lunch, I sometimes take it to pick up groceries. The step-through frame makes it easy to mount with full bags. The 7-speed drivetrain shifts cleanly, and I have not had a single chain drop. Back at home, I store it in a hallway nook. The weight is the only part that asks for a bit of effort, but the rest of the experience more than makes up for that. There are a few thoughtful touches that I appreciate over time. The battery locks with a key that also works smoothly to release it, which sounds obvious but is not always the case. The liquid crystal display screen is bright enough to read in direct sun. It shows the essentials at a glance, and after I turned off a couple of secondary readouts in the settings, the layout felt clean. The 5 levels of pedal assist give meaningful steps, not just tiny differences, so I actually use all of them. The frame's geometry makes it easy to put a foot down at a stop without feeling cramped while riding. The included fenders keep road spray off my clothes. The tire sidewalls with reflective elements add free visibility for night riding. Little things add up to a bike that I trust without thinking about it. It is not perfect. The weight is real, especially if I carry it upstairs. I would upgrade the pedals if I plan to ride in the rain a lot, since the stock ones are a bit slick with wet shoes. The display can feel busy out of the box, though it is easy to tailor. The throttle has a small delay from a standstill, which is safer for control, but it takes a ride or two to get used to. Range swings are noticeable with lots of throttle and hills, so I keep a mental note of how far I have gone when I am loaded up. None of these have been deal breakers for me. Stepping back, I think of the Jasion Roamer SD as a practical city tool that respects the feel of cycling. It keeps the silhouette and comfort of a classic step-through bike. It gives me real assistance when I need it, and it stays approachable for riders at different experience levels. I would recommend it to commuters, to students who want one bike for class and errands, and to anyone who wants to extend their range without turning every ride into a workout. If I were choosing an electric bike for a first purchase, this is exactly the sort of balanced, low-drama experience I would want. I'll leave the details about the Jasion Roamer SD in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.